Hey guys, it's Vince Sanalino, Northwest Indiana's Best Home Solutions. Been a while since I filmed one of these videos. I'm just trying to do too much. Anyways, today we're going to talk about finding houses. If you want to do everything free for wholesaling and barely spend any money, and you're on a tight advertising budget, this is one way I do, to find houses. We'll just go through it real quick here. You go over here, see this list down here. I got this list of houses. I don't know. Someone sent it to me from the internet. I don't know who it is. They just randomly sent out an email with, a CC function of a lot of people. That brings up another point. I took all those people and I sent them an email about joining my buying list for houses in Northwest Indiana and Cook County, Illinois. Anyways, so you take, this email is directed towards finding houses. Here's another strategy here. You take this list, like we'll go to this address up here. You just punch it in Google. It comes up. You go over to Google. Here it is right here. I always click on Redfin. You click on Redfin. What you're looking for here, look, this is the last time this one was sold. It's in Chicago, Illinois, $33,000 last time it was sold. Someone had it on this list for $30,000. But you go down here, you can see this, you can try this. See, it's right there. And you're scrolling and you're looking for this APIN PIN number. So you take that PIN number, you write it down, all right? Then you go over to, Google again. What you're looking for is, your county's tax and assess. So if you put this address in Google and put, in parentheses, tax and assess next to it, the county website will come up. And I just went to home page. I punched in these numbers. Here's the property's information with the owner. This one, some of them could be duds. They could have lost it at tax sale. Doesn't look like it on this one. They only owe 15. 14 pay 15 was paid in full. And there's nothing available. So I'm assuming that this guy still owns the building and he's just trying to sell it. So here's the address. A lot of times it'll be a different address than the address of the property. So you got the address. All right, that's how you get the address. You go over to your county's website. You put in those PIN numbers you found from, you search the address on Google and you clicked on Redfin. Sometimes Zillow will have it. Sometimes I've noticed Zillow don't have it, so you got to use Redfin. You get the PIN number. You find your county's tax and assess porthole. You put the PIN in there. Here it is. So, what you do is you take that. You go over here. Here's one of the letters I created that I'm going to send this person. This is the actual one I'm talking about right here. I'm just sending them a letter, about them selling their house. All this is in my book. Here's the envelope. I got it ready. Then I'll just write on here on my sheet, 6:30 I sent them a letter. So if I want to drip on them in the future, and I put this letter in the mail, with my return address. The letter is in my ebook. I wrote a 122-page ebook on wholesaling houses, the intelligent wholesale real estate investor. That link will be in this video. Along with my Facebook link. If you have any questions, you can, email me or join me on Facebook. But I think that's about it for today's training. This is some advanced training. You got to remember, if you're doing this and you got a few ads out there on Craigslist that say we buy houses, and you got some ads on your Facebook, on the real estate groups you can post looking for houses, and you got brokers and people bringing you houses, you're putting out business cards. If this don't work, one of the bandit signs you got out that say, I probably have about 30 bandit signs out there in 3 counties. They take them down. I go put them back up. If they call me complaining, code enforcement, I'll just say, what, you don't want me to help clean up the community? I'll tell those kids don't put the damn sign there no more. You always got an answer for everything, but if you're doing all these activities, signs, business cards, Craigslist, expired listings from brokers, and then researching these like this. If the signs don't work, this will work. If this don't work, the signs will work. You know what I'm saying? You'll get a lead. Then you just go over to your, the lead sheet that's in my ebook. And you answer, you ask the seller open-ended questions when they call, so you can determine if it's something you want to go look at. But that's it. This is the training. Very simple. Another way to find houses. Someone sent me this list. Like I said, I don't even know who. They CCC'd a bunch of people. I was one of them. So I'm just taking this list and going through it and finding motivated sellers, because that's what you need to keep afloat. You got to have activities going on all the time. Till the next time, this is Vince Santalino, Indiana's Northwest Best Home Solutions. The link to my ebook will be in this video. 122 page that I copyrighted. It's got everything you're going to need, to learn this business. I got hundreds of examples, the contracts, testimonials. Then my Facebook page will be in here. You can ask me a question there. Till the next time, Vince Santalino.